one day and said, there's somebody out there flashing a mirror. We think it's a Japanese spy. And I went out to sit in the yard, and sure enough, there was a young man up in a tree, and he had put the mirror back in his pocket, and it indicated that he was coming down. And the soldiers in my unit were gathering around, and some of them ran to their tents and got their rifles. There's an enemy in camp. There was a guy from New York by the name of Goralski. When he was about halfway down the tree, he shot him point blank, pinned him to the tree, and his body fell out of the tree onto the ground, bounced. And I went over to look at him, and he was mortally wounded. I looked in his pocket to get an identification, and he had a wallet, just like American soldiers carry, with a picture of his wife and 2 little children. And he was about 25 or 26 years old. His wife was about 20. And love letters with tears on them and everything else. That he had a family and he had relationships and everything. And this guy Goralski just shot him to get an enemy, a trophy. And so I tried to court-martial him, and the only one that got in trouble was me. I tried to court-martial him for murder. He murdered him in cold blood. And the worst part of it is others are standing around jumping up and down saying, oh, you got one, you got one. And that sickened me. That's our mentality. That's human beings. That's American human beings gloating over somebody's death, and he's just like they are. He's got a family and kids. Wasn't doing anything. He was coming down a tree. He had given up. He knew he was trapped. Killed him anyway. But those things happen.
Describe the court-martial process that you tried to go through.
Well, in the service, you have your court is a military court. You file charges, and the charges go to the military judge advocate's office, and he decides whether the charge has merit or not. If it does, he forwards it to the judge advocate, and the judge advocate is a military prosecutor, I guess you call it. Mm-hmm. And they appoint senior officers. There's a panel of 3 senior officers as judges on a capital crimes case like that. And the case is presented by the prosecuting attorney, who is an officer, and the defendant is given a defense attorney who has free rein to defend his client the best of his ability. And the court is run like that, and it's real simple. They keep records on it, but it's a military court. They can even sentence somebody to execution by firing squad if they think necessary. But the senior officer judge panel decided that this is war, and these things happen, and we shouldn't be sitting on a trial like this here in the theater in this way, and they dismissed the case. Case of cold-blooded murder. And
so did you fear reprisal from the murderer?
No, but I was reprisal from senior officers that thought I had stepped out of line charging him with murder for killing an enemy.
And what did they say to you? How did they try
to... Well, they just told me that they thought I was out of line, that I should get in step with the rest of the Army.
In other words, tacitly...
Don't make waves.
Don't make waves about cold-blooded murder.
Yeah, or anything like that.
And what did that tell you about the upper brass of the military?
Well, they had been through these things, something like this before, earlier in their career, and they decided that the system works and it's all right the way it is. We don't need to make big changes in it.
And how did that affect your outlook of being in the military?
I just wanted to get out of the service then, but I was having too much fun flying all those airplanes and things. I didn't do it. We'd been in operation there maybe 2 or 3 months, and I was a captain at the time, and captains are called junior grade officers. All junior grade officers have duty list. You're assigned on a duty roster, and the duty roster includes officer of the day, officer of the guard, things like that that somebody has to fill for a 24-hour period.
Okay.